What's up guys, Barry Game here, back with some more Idle Heroes, and today, thanks to one of our viewers, Lars, we have the perfect early game account to test out this new hero, Infinite Era Alikita. Now, you will notice we do not have a core, but that's probably the way you're going to build an account like this very early on, because, well, we have Therapist Blood Betty, which is her tenant, and of course is the better option for using a core. Beyond that, we also have, you know, like a Scarlet Queen, and beyond that, we just have some regular old heroes. Now, this is a perfect setup so far. The only downside here I really wish we had was this sublimation right here, because as you guys know, when you get to deep sublimation, you get additional crowd control. This in combination with the Therapist Blood Betty sounds like a very powerful thing because, well, her using her basic attack is actually pretty solid. We do, of course, have this one maxed out, which is, you know, at the end of each round, transfers 2 debuffs from 3 random allies to herself. That's not that bad. That's actually pretty good, and I kind of like this one. The on-death one's not as relevant because, of course, this is going to be our main damage dealer, essentially, and we have a melodic strings. We're built very, very offensive here. You see very good crit chance and everything. We have, what, damage reduction, crit damage, precision. We could go for maybe some more crit chance here and just really guarantee the crit here. That might be the better play, 83%. And then beyond that, we have a Therapist Blood Betty. Not going actually for, it's interesting. We're going to go with a Rui Scepter on this account. Granted, we could go with some other options. It's definitely something that we can do. We could go with a Demon Bell just to get that energy right away, because the Demon Bell would be better tenant stats as well, building her very tanky. So let's see what it looks like. We have 3 heroes and we are at 1-4. This is one of those waves that really stop people, even though we have the max buff right here in chapter 1. Let's see how this actually turns out, because remember, we only have 3 heroes, technically a 4th one right there. Let's see how this turns out. We're going to use the Betty core on top of that. And this is pretty much what you would expect, I think, from a 3-hero Transcendent setup. I don't know if going with like Blood Tide Arania would be a very good thing. Now, you can see right here, the downside of the Betty going so quickly. The Sherlocks just simply reflected those bindings to our main damage dealer here. So let's see how this turns out. We did get an attack off, and that felt like a pretty significant hit, honestly. And again, if the basic attack that she had the ability, I think, to crowd control too, I think that would make this just that much better. The big part is keeping these pennies locked down, and sadly it is hitting our main hero, and we really want our main hero Alikita to get a round 1 active. So this is going to be a little sketchy. Not exactly going to work out the way we want, but it's still a pretty sizable hit, matching a Therapist Blood Betty. And you have to remember, they have about the same stats, 2.4 versus 1.6. It's not a huge difference, but it definitely is a difference in overall stats. I think with enough RNG on this wave, we could definitely clear this out where we were previously stuck with the Betty. Right here, that's actually a really good look, getting the active skill off in round 1. Because now we can continue to crowd control. Oh lord, this is a tricky one. The Holmes Young still being able to do stuff, not being able to lock down those Sherlocks. It just feels so bad, but we're kind of locking them down. The downside is we don't convert dots over to like a heal. Could you imagine if her ability not only took debuffs, but took like dot types of damage and turned that into an offensive ability? That's probably one of the best first rounds we've had so far. Good basic attack too, into another active maybe if we don't get doved, which I hope we don't. Oh, this is good. Oh no, she got twined from the Betty's reflection on the Sherlock now. So close. But the really cool part is just taking all of these abilities that they're using and just turning them into debuffs on them instead of buffs. I really like that. And then we take any debuffs on our team, which sadly in this scenario there really aren't any. This is so tricky. I wonder if we should go with like Balanced Strike instead. Get the heal in there. That could be the better play. Because it would be cool if we could break past this. We're going to try out in a couple different game modes too, of course. But this is looking pretty solid. I like this hero. I feel like this hero's kit is probably one of the best we've had since Betty. Should he get twined again? Hopefully she doesn't die here. My goodness. Just some twine RNG. That's all we need, is just some twine RNG on those Sherlocks, because if this happens, we don't have enough damage. You can kind of see Betty just doesn't have enough throughput, doesn't have enough damage output to actually make this happen. That is a huge, huge hit right there. That was big. That was a really good round. We did get twined, which kind of sketchy, but hopefully we can break it and not get twined next round. Oh no, we got twined again, and we got, oh, it all went downhill. Honestly, I kind of want our Betty to die a little quicker because I feel like it's the crowd control in like round 3, round 4 that's what's really the nail in the coffin here. Yeah, it's literally the Holmes Young little potions he's throwing. That's the only thing killing us. If it wasn't for Holmes Young in this wave, we would probably have no issue dealing with these Sherlocks. I am determined. This is like one of those really early on waves that gets so many accounts stuck. And that first round damage, I think, is so important. Into a good second round Betty damage, which is really good. Almost takes those pennies out. They do have dots on them, so they will die. But again, right here is the worst part, where we get twined in round 3, and then we get doved, essentially. And then we have 2 different types of CCs on us, and we just can't break out of it after that, which is just so, so annoying. This, again, very, very good first round. Pennies should die. We just need to not get the twine reflected onto our Alikita. She died to the dot damage. Oh, this is so triggering here. So triggering. I wonder if it would even be better if we didn't have Betty's core, but the fact that she's fast enough to go is really, really good. Oh, and see, we had double CC on us, so we couldn't break out of both. We just got rid of the twine. We're still shapeshift. This is just one of those waves. With enough tries, we could definitely get through it. We'll give it like 1 or 2 more just to see if we can break through it. Otherwise, we'll check her out in some other game modes here. But again, yeah, it's literally a game of RNG. If you do this 500 times, one of them, the RNG will line up and you'll get the win. Right here's a pretty good shot. Still not horrible. I don't know if Betty dies here. She does, which actually might not be a bad thing. Kinda is, yeah. All right, last one, let's see. We need that first round active. First round, let's go. Everybody gets to go. Perfect. That's literally a perfect round 1. Everybody got to use their active skill. Well, Betty got to use her basic. You know what I'm talking about. Pretty solid. Lots of debuffs on the enemy, including slows. And slows actually does help in the early game here. This is promising. But, again, we got CC'd. Ah, it's so close. They are a perfect match when it comes to AoE damage. So the more sublimations we can get, the better it will become eventually. Man, I keep forgetting that Sealand's in here now. Dark Sealand 23. This one is going to have to be purely RNG right here. Like 100% RNG. We're going to have to see how this actually turns out. I think this hero can make some progress because her damage is going to be crazy, crazy high. And again, all those things that typically make an early game Transcendence hero weak in Sealand are a ton of like the armor break debuffs and everything. But at the end of every round, she turns that into offensive power or defensive power. Basically just the opposite of whatever the debuff was, which is really, really cool. And the fact that all of her skills hit everybody means the healing on Balanced Strike is going to be very, very reliable because no matter what, whether it's an active skill, basic attack, you're going to have 4 to 5 different enemies to proc your heal on, which means Balanced Strike is going to be so reliable, especially if you have a very high crit chance. As you guys are seeing here, we're essentially critting on every hit. We're getting armor instead of the armor reduction. Every round it gets converted over, which is cool. And again, hitting all the targets is very, very nice. To be fair, this might be a hero that would do really well with the new artifact too. I forget the name of it at this point. You know, the League of Legends Jinx Cannon. I think that's what it is, right? This hero is doing really, really good in Sealand. Holy cow, this is absolutely crazy easy how quickly this is kind of going. Again, turning that round 2 into armor is a huge help to keep us alive. This is really awesome. I wish we had a doppelganger Natalia on this account too, to be honest. If we had a doppelganger Natalia as well as a 4th Transcendence hero, that would be so freaking sweet. We could even run like Natalia or something as a 2nd homeowner. And yeah, just look how reliable the healing is. Almost every single time we're able to get at least 1 crit on someone that doesn't die, which means tons of healing. And this is just flying through the progression right here. This is really, really awesome for a 3 Transcendence hero account. Starting to get a lot of damage coming in from Melodic, so I don't know if Melodic's going to keep us going. We might have to switch to like a more defensive artifact, which does mean the ramp up is a little bit slower, but makes it so that she's probably less likely to be killed. Because yeah, we're getting chunked at this point. If we're not full healing, that's going to be a big failure on our behalf. So let's see what type of artifacts we have. We have a mirror. Oh, the mirror would have actually been perfect on Betty, but Kiss a Ghost. Looks like nothing really else. So the other artifact we have at our disposal at this early point in time is probably like an Augustus Magic Ball upgraded. Can be pretty solid here. And we're actually getting achievements here too, which is cool. So jump back in. Let's see if we can finish out and do 26. This might make her tanky enough. Oh, yes. My goodness. This is going to be a lot better. Look how tanky this hero is. And this is why sometimes early game AMB is so strong, but it does fall off very late game unless you have insanely high attack value on your heroes. But you can see right here, like, we're not getting chunked anymore. We have time for Balanced Strike to completely full heal us pretty much. Even when we don't crit in 1 round, it's not like devastating because we go right back up to full. At this point, it's almost like, do we have enough rounds to have the damage output? Round 11, we have to kill all of these like multiple times, which is the downside here. Oh geez, we got like 1 more active skill. Is it gonna be enough? Oh, it's so close, but you can kind of get a good feel of how strong this hero can be in the early game. Is she better than like Lord of Fear Aspen? Really hard to say just yet, but the fact that you can go for Therapist of Blood Betty as your 2nd Transcendence hero is really, really cool. And like I said, the only other option to go for 3rd would be the Bloodtide Queen Urania. But I don't know if that's a better pick than picking up someone like a Scarlet Queen Halora. Again, like I said, if you wanted to also as like a 3rd or even 4th Transcendence hero, you can go this route right here. You can build a Natalia, and then you can even build another offensive Transcendence hero in the form of like Doom Terminator Vulcan to be like a secondary damage dealer. And then you have like one of the most sick AoE damage teams in the entire game at this point. So let me know what you guys think. I'm a big fan of Infinite Era Alikita. Please let me know if you guys want to see her tested in some game mode in some way. I'll keep trying to find different accounts, different power levels, and really show her off this week. Hopefully you guys enjoy this one. I'm happy with how she's performing, and I'll see you guys next time.